Greetings, bronies. Welcome to FOB Equestria Podcast, the official podcast of FOB Equestria, if you couldn't guess by the name. This is Bangle. Basically, we are here to do a week in review and put out announcements sort of things. I am currently probably the newest member of the FOB Equestria staff. My official title is head pre-reader, but I also have with me Miche or is it Miche?
Yes, it's Miche.
Yes, and King Harold, aka Sky Cruncher, is his OC, but we will be referring to him as King Harold or King or Harold. Say hello.
Hello, everyone.
So,
and in case you didn't know, King Harold is actually the name of the Norwegian king.
I was actually not aware of that. But yes, being military bronies, we are actually very spread out. Miche, I keep saying that wrong, is currently in Okinawa, Japan, and King is, if you haven't guessed, he is from Norway. And
that's correct.
Yeah, and I am currently in the U.S. myself, so we are actually very spread out. And right now, it is currently the three of us. We do plan on being the regular, podcast hosts, but that does not mean our other staff members will not be joining us from time to time. They have certainly been given the invitation, and I'm hoping they'll take it up, but we'll see. So, yeah. But I guess where do you guys want to start talking? Any topics you want to discuss in particular off the bat? Not really. Cricket. Okay, I guess I'll start it off. So, you guys are familiar with Black Griffin. I kind of gave you a heads up on this, but I know a couple weeks back, we posted just an update on our site saying, he wanted some feedback on his latest music project, which was a cover of Proud to Be a Brony. And have you guys seen that?
I have not.
Really?
Yeah. Did he get any feedback?
What was that?
Did he get any feedback?
He got some feedback, yeah. But I watched it and I was blown away. That guy's amazing. But for those of you who are not familiar with Black Griffin, he's been featured on Equestria Daily a few times. He's done animations for Twilighticious, Flutterlicious, etc. And actually, one of the projects he is currently working on is Rainbowlicious. And he says not to really expect the same type of thing, because he's like, remember, this is Rainbow Dash we're talking about. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to that. But
yeah, that's Rainbow Dash is Pony.
Really? So I guess we all know where you stand.
I think you spelled Fluttershy wrong.
Yeah. Well, I kind of knew where you stood as well, but because I can tell. I'm looking at your Skype profile picture right now, so I kind of guessed you were a Fluttershy man.
That would be correct.
But yeah, for me personally, if we're talking main six, Twilight is probably my favorite. But if we're talking overall, Luna, and that's just the circumstances of all the, fanon out there. But anyway, also with Black Griffin, so he's working on that project. He's gotten good feedback on that. He is pushing forward on that. It's just, same thing as it is with us. Being in the military, it kind of interferes a lot with our personal projects. And also, he did give me an update, actually, on basically Rock Band has gotten in touch with him, and they want him to put the original Proud to Be a Brony and the remix in the Rock Band store. The remix when it's done, but that's pretty cool. And I guess the final note on Black Griffin is that he is currently stationed in Yokosuka, Japan. I think I said that right. And Yokosuka. Yeah, you're probably right.
Probably. I need to see how it's spelled. Continue. Yes, I apologize.
No, that's fine. definitely chime in any time. But he is desperate to meet some military bronies. Sadly, Miche is in Okinawa, and that's a little too far. But if you're near, what was it? What do you think it was? Mish?
What was? What?
Where Black Griffin is stationed, because I'm gonna butcher it again.
Yokosuka?
Yokosuka?
It's called Yokosuka. It's hard to pronounce because there's a distinguishment between the K, the T and the K, because it's TSU, Su-ka, but it's pronounced quickly. So in the English, it sounds like Yokosuka, but it's Yokosuka.
Yokosuka. Okay, yeah, but anyway,
Yeah, you got it. You're close enough.
Close enough. But yeah, he just wants to meet some military bronies, so if you're in that area, feel free to get in touch with him. He definitely responds to his YouTube PMs, personal messages, private messages, whatever the PM actually stands for. But, you know, if you're in the area, just message him on YouTube. His YouTube channel, you can search Black Griffin or Twilightlicious Animation. You'll find it. And definitely hit him up because, you know, he just wants to connect with the community. I mean, that's kind of what we all want to do.
Yeah, that's why we're all here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty much. And that's kind of the reason we're doing this podcast, is to kind of make ourselves more available to you guys. Really put a voice, you know, make ourselves more personable so we aren't just some, you know, vague force of moderating power on the site.
Wait, that's not what we do?
No, we are not mysterious overlords. We actually want to be real people. And I guess the next announcement...
What the hell are you talking about? We're not real people.
No one's a real person on the internet. But no, next thing is the Military Brony t-shirts. There's been a poll on the site for a while now. And it's gotten a good few views. I put in my 2 cents as well. And, I mean, so right now, as it stands, we have one design that was basically a free commission out of the generosity of someone's heart. King, do you have that person's name? Because I can't recall.
Hang on.
Okay. Well, he finds it. So we basically have one design. And it's a decent design. Some people were more thrilled with it than others, but at the same time, we were discussing, I'm not sure if there's been any real commitment yet, but we've been discussing a t-shirt design contest among the visitors to our site, among, you know, our members. And there would be prizes. I know prizes were discussed, but nothing was set in stone yet. This is still very up in the air. And then
This is very up in the air. The basic gist of it is that we need ourselves a proper logo, and that this is something we also would want to have on a t-shirt.
right.
We would like to get the artists in the community involved in this, and give them a chance to really express themselves and tell themselves, and earn a big prize in as well.
So yeah,
So we're talking real monetary winnings here.
yeah, and I know that was
You get to shake
discussed
my hand, but you have to visit me.
in Japan.
Yeah, that too.
Yep.
That's the prize. You get the free trip to Japan.
What? Wait, whoa, I'm not paying for this. You can shake my hand. What?
Yeah, so there will be a post. I'm sorry, continue.
Yeah, Misha, I thought you promised to pay for this.
Yeah, I don't remember getting that email.
Yeah. No, we were talking about it. You were logged on to Skype, and, you know, we were chatting in it about it, and, you know, we just took your silence as, you know, silent agreement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You put the question out. Whoever doesn't respond to this gets to pay for it, and so.
No.
Yeah, that's not fair. I was probably sleeping.
Okay, in all seriousness, we will get once we get the details finally ironed out, I am almost 100% certain there's going to be a post on the FOB Equestria main page about this whole thing, giving you the details, what the prizes are going to be, what we're looking for. So, like, King said, we are looking for a logo type of thing, kind of like maybe a military patch style, or anything that we can really use to attach ourselves to as FOB Equestria. Not only that, I know we were discussing some sort of coat of arms kind of looking thing for the honorary military brony members. And so t-shirts designs, logo designs, patch designs, so on and so forth. There will, like I said, when we do get the details ironed out, there will be a post on it. But as for right now, kind of just giving a heads up, I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we're doing here.
And
there will be competitions for art, and there will be prizes.
Yeah. So, stuff to motivate the artistic community. Actually, while we're on the subject of art, this wasn't even on my list of stuff to cover, but I just thought about it. Banners! We still need banners, because we don't really have any banners. We're using one of mine I made at the moment, but come on, artists in the community, get out there, please. We need banners on standard banner dimensions, which is typically 1000 by 200, 1000 by 300 pixels. So if you've got any ideas for banners, if you want to try your hand at it, definitely send us a submission at our typical email address, which is fobequestria@gmail.com. But yeah, we're still looking.
Yep, definitely looking. I think we just have 4 at the moment.
Yeah, so.
And 2 of them was in the wrong dimension, so we can't use them.
Yeah, the dimensions are important. If you want an example, either use the one on our website, or just you've probably visited Equestria Daily from time to time, and you notice theirs are pretty much almost always in the same dimensions. They might be a little wider, or they might. I'm not sure how to describe it, but they might be a little thicker, I guess, is the way to describe it, than other times, but they're always 1000 pixels across, and that's to prevent issues with people trying to load the page at different dimensions. But anyway, I guess we can review
If you have any trouble trying to get yours in the correct dimensions, please just send us an email, and I'm pretty sure the entire staff will be glad to help you try to get your banner in the right dimensions.
Yeah.
It's not very difficult. It's just a few steps.
Yes, it is quite easy. And if you want to try your hand at a banner, but you're like, all I have is paint, please download GIMP. It is a great software program. It's free, and it takes a little bit of fiddling around with to figure out, but it's so much more versatile than just Windows Paint. So
yeah, it's basically a Photoshop for the poor man.
Yeah, GIMP is Photoshop for the poor man. Well put. But I guess right now there were some things on the list brony related to talk about, now that we've gotten a lot of admin stuff out of the way, I guess, and a lot of banter. So top 10 videos of July. Did you guys see that yet?
I haven't seen it yet, no, but it's on my to view list.
I know how that
goes. I
goes.
was unaware of this.
Oh man, you missed it. It was recently. It was just in the past couple days, or maybe it was just one day ago. I mean, I lose track of time so easily, don't I?
From my time zone, it's 1 day ago on YouTube.
Okay, so yeah, top 10 pony videos of July. I wasn't too surprised at what was on there. There was Want It, Need It, which was so awesome. That was so well done. Have you guys seen that one yet?
I have not.
What did we say?
Want It, Need It, the PMV put to the song Hold Me. the level.
That video was a bit. What shall we say? Freaked me out a bit, but it was also freakishly good.
Yeah, it was freaky in that it was freakishly good, but it was also a little freaky in that it was a little disturbing in the concept. But if you've seen the original Hold Me video, it actually follows it perfectly. There is a video on YouTube that does a side-by-side comparison of the two, and it's just, they are so in sync. Yeah, so, but Picture Perfect Pony also made it on the top 10 pony videos of July, which isn't surprising at all. That official video that just showed what this community can really do. So,
yeah, that was one guy spending 3 months animating basically show level quality animation there.
Yeah, it was show level quality. I was completely blown away. There was just, I could not believe it. But another video, actually, it was recently posted to EQD this week, was PonyNote. It basically a parody of Death Note. It was pretty well edited. What? Yeah. Didn't you just recently start? Was it you or Saunter who recently started watching?
No, it was me. Actually, I'm on episode 35 right now, and I hear the ending's like the greatest thing ever, and I'm already like, I'm jotting down notes. I'm starting to fiddle with ideas in my head because, as you know, I like my Photoshop and I like my art, but considering that I'm rarely at my computer to do these things, I don't get much time to do it, which is why I apologize, Harold. I've been taking so long. But I'm already starting to write down little things. I'm gonna try to get like a little banner together. It's something that's on my little list.
Oh yeah, you're our OC man, aren't you?
Yes, that is my unofficial title for right now.
Yes.
I'm kind of a staff artist with no time to art, so I'm not much more than staff.
Yeah, actually, for those of you who are unaware, there's currently on the staff, last time I checked, there's only 7 of us, and all of us being in the military, we're busy. We're trying to basically figure out a way to be more consistent, and that is one of the top priorities on our list at the moment. But yeah, there's 7 of us, and we aren't quite sure if we're going to try to enlist the help of other people. I know we've gotten offers from other people to join the staff, but we aren't sure quite how we want to organize things. So, I mean, more on that to come, I guess.
We are probably going to get more people as what should we call it? Low-level staffers,
right?
Or once in a while contributors,
right? Actually,
this is all like in the works, so
yeah.
Please don't be like, oh, we need staff. You know, I'm gonna definitely get the position, but if you have qualifications, be sure to send us a message, a little email.
Like I said, there will be definitely more on this to come. We are trying to sort it out ourselves, but it's definitely a work in progress, I suppose. We're trying to get all together and meet up, which again is hard because we are so spread out, and we're trying to set up staff meeting times and all this fun stuff so that we can actually figure this stuff out. And one idea I had was we have our commander, Firebrand, that is. We all universally agree he is the man in charge. He is the head of FOB Equestria. And then the rest of us, to the best of my knowledge, we're all quote-unquote captains. And then I guess the way I was thinking about it is for the staffers that we plan on having lower level staffers beneath us, like say for me, I wasn't thinking private first class. I wasn't thinking that low. I was thinking butter bars, lieutenants.
But who's gonna clean my deck?
That's not their problem. But have some lieutenants for the captains is what I was thinking. Like for me, my official title on the site is head pre-reader. Basically head pre-reader and reviewer. I've done a few reviews already, and I recently posted that whole explanation of what exactly my reviews mean, so I kind of felt that was somewhat necessary. In fact, I'm probably going to link that post in every review now that I think about it. Just at the end for the ratings at the bottom, I'm going to put a link to that post so people can actually know. But I digress. So people underneath me, just regular pre-readers and reviewers, would be lieutenants. And so, thoughts?
That's pretty much the idea, yes.
Okay. Sound like
just to give the listeners a quick understanding, can you explain exactly what you do, Harold?
I'm pretty much the FOB technician. Originally I was the one who set up the web page and the forums, and I also host the forums on my own server.
Right. So
whenever ever anything goes wrong on the website or the forum, I'm the one to blame.
And we all.
Then we all. Yes, indeed. But yeah, so he's basically the man behind the scenes a lot of the times. But I mean, I've known him to get out there and post some things, and so he's not complete behind the scenes.
No, but that's because in the beginning it was basically just me and Commander Firebrand, and then we got you guys on.
Yeah.
To do more stuff.
And that's, yeah, I definitely, like I said, we're trying to get this whole staff thing figured out, and we probably are going to be looking for more staff members in the future. But when that happens, there will most likely be a post, and we will definitely bring it up in this podcast. This is our pilot episode, however, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we
Direction, mistakes, all of this.
All of this fun stuff, yes.
But back to the topic. I know we're kind of derailing.
I know.
You mentioned PonyNote.
Yes.
The Death Note crossover type thing.
Yes. It was a well done video. I have to admit, it was well edited, well put together. There was some altering of Death Note footage, but used footage from Death Note and footage from the show. And it was basically the concept of, instead of a Death Note, like signing the name in the book and then the person would die, you sign their name in the book and they would become a brony. So it's like, if you could turn anyone in the world into a brony, who would you turn into a brony? And it actually ended up with, I think in the video he put like, towards the end he put everyone, anytime, anyone, everywhere, anytime.
Oh god.
And then there was this whole twisted concept of, now I've seen some Death Note, but I haven't watched this show religiously. I've seen probably all of 20 episodes total. But in the PonyNote parody, the notebook said he couldn't put his own name in the book to make himself a brony. So, is that kind of like something from the show too? Can he not sign his own name in the book to kill himself?
I don't know. Like I said, I'm on 35. There's 37 episodes, and I hear the ending is just blow your mind amazing. So I'm not sure if there's a connection, but if there is, I don't want to know about it until I finish the
All right. But anyway, so like Kira is all sad and everything. He's like, I can't become a brony. And then Trelestia apparently has her own PonyNote, and she signs his name in it. And so it's a pretty good video. I guess I should probably link all these in the description when I upload this to our YouTube channel. All these videos we've mentioned, I should probably link them.
Retrospective.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. What were you saying?
Automatically get all the references we're talking about.
This is Death Note. This is episode 35.
Yeah. But I mean, it's been a kind of quiet week for the brony community. Nothing too outrageous, not that I've noticed. I know there's several cons going several cons going on, and sadly I can't go to any of those. But
yeah, and next weekend marks there's two big cons going on. We of course have the Everfree Northwest up in Seattle, where all the big shots are going to make an appearance for the American bronies.
Yep.
And of course there's the smaller convention in the UK, which is called Buck in Manchester, and yours truly is actually one of the staffers there this year.
So I guess what he's saying is, if you're one of your fellow European bronies and you will be in the UK, and you're going to Buck, find him.
Shake his hand.
Shake his hand.
No, I'm kidding. Don't shake his hand.
I will be a part of the steward crew, and I also will be carrying a press pass.
Nice. So we should have tons of information on Buck. Hopefully, ideally, King will be able to do plenty of recon for us and get us information. In the past, we've tried to get information from different cons with varying success, but hopefully that changes in the future. Hopefully we'll actually be able to have staff members at the various cons and report directly rather than through second-hand or third-hand, knowledge. But we'll see what direction that takes.
I also know that there's going to be plenty of military bronies going to Everfree as well. So definitely try to get in touch with each other and group up.
Yeah. I mean, this is one thing I've found really fascinating is, bronies, we've been around for a little while now, it's coming up on 2 years at this point. And yeah, we're still young as a community, definitely. But military bronies even more so. I mean, the military brony movement really didn't start gaining any traction until, BronyCon. And so we're still very young. I mean, we are the babies of the babies, I guess. But at the same time, I think it's awesome that, we finally started I shouldn't say finally, but we are taking initiative and starting to network among ourselves even. Not that we're trying to separate from the brony community in general, but military bronies. Yeah, we're going to take it over through hostile military force. Screw love and tolerance.
Love, tolerance, and an M1 Abrams.
Yes. But, I mean, it's just one of those things that that's kind of why I saw that FOB Equestria was coming online, and I was like, man, I really want to be a part of this. I really see the potential for this. And I want to help all of us military bronies really start getting together and connecting and really kind of establish ourselves. So that's kind of why I jumped on board.
Yeah, I think I actually might have spoken, not 100% sure, but I might have actually spoken to Josh personally, because I'm not
Firebrand.
sure how many people were aware or were even there, but during BronyCon they had the military luncheon for the documentary. And while I was there, somebody came up to me. He's like, "Yeah, I'm thinking about starting a website for military bronies. Are you interested?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't got much time, but I'll gladly, donate whatever time I have to the website." Then I gave him my email, and here I am now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I ended up with this as well. Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Okay, I know the way.
In case you're wondering now, yes, I was at BronyCon.
I was not, and we already know where Miche stands. He was definitely there, but yeah, I actually the way I heard about FOB Equestria was randomly. I can't remember how, but randomly I heard about a military bronies Facebook page, so I joined up. I hit become a fan thing, and then they posted a link to FOB Equestria, and then I find FOB Equestria. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. It looks professionally done for the most part, and it looked a lot like Equestria Daily is what I thought. Except I'm like, oh, Equestria Daily, but military themed for that military perspective. And then I saw they were looking for staffers. I'm like, sure, why not? And so basically here I am.
Yep.
But I guess going back to the videos thing, one video I'm surprised that hasn't gotten more views. Last time I checked, it was, I think, yesterday, but it was still surprisingly few on views, is the Atomizer music video. Have either of you seen that?
The negative.
How about you, King?
What did you call it?
Atomizer?
The Atomizer.
Yeah, Atomizer.
It has a new music video?
It's a music video. If I recall correctly, it was a collaboration. The music in the video was a collaboration between the Living Tombstone, which is, he's technically one of us, Israeli military. And then it was a collaboration between him and, if I recall correctly, I Be a Brony rapper. both pretty well-known musicians in the community, at least some of the more well-known. And this guy basically took this song they did, and it's called Atomizer, and it's all about, it's kind of military themed. It's I don't know how to describe it. It's Tombstone's unique style, I guess. Yeah, there's wubs, definitely. But I loved, like, not only did I love the song, but I love the video. It basically has the concept of friendship nuke. And the whole video is this whole, like, nuclear themed music video. It's mainly typography, but it is so well done. And last I checked, like I said, it didn't even break 20,000 views yet, which I know you're saying 20,000, it's still made over 10,000 views, which is still significant. But with how well it was done, and with videos like Picture Perfect Pony and stuff getting hundreds of thousands of views, I was surprised to see that this one hasn't gotten more views. So
I see it now, and yeah, this should get more views.
I mean,
I guess everybody probably has seen the original song on YouTube, because that one has almost 100,000 views.
Yeah, so like I said, it was posted on Equestria Daily.
Yeah.
But that's why I was also surprised. It was posted on Equestria Daily. If I recall correctly, it actually got its own post. It wasn't like grouped together with other music videos or anything. If I recall correctly, it was posted by itself, which again is why I'm surprised it really hasn't gotten more attention, especially since the Equestria Daily staff basically made a decision that this video was good enough, just like Picture Perfect Pony was good enough, to be posted in a blog of its own, an update of its own. So I guess it's one of those things.
That's a bit disappointing, but that leaves the space for us to give it a bit of spotlight, yes,
for the military bronies. This, like I said, this will be uploaded to our YouTube channel, which is created, but it definitely needs a little bit of polish. But in this, from via YouTube, embedding links and all that fun stuff, it will be on our site. So you're probably watching it from one of those two sources at this point. At least I would assume so. I don't know how else you would be. And yeah, so I guess giving a little love to the Atomizer video. It is military themed. I mean, when you think about it, we got a friendship nuke. That's military. So, I guess, yeah. Anything you guys saw this week that you thought was interesting? Not.
Actually, I just wanted to bring up the funny little story we had about Pixie. That one.
Oh, the one art post?
Apparently, like me, I'm spending all this time trying to think of like an awesome pun, because I see a jet fighting Rainbow Dash. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be a great Starscream pun. I gotta work this out.
Not just Rainbow Dash.
I spoke to, but they're like, no, that's not Starscream. That's Pixie from Ace Combat. I'm like, what? I spent like 45 minutes trying to think of like a great post.
Yeah.
Like, wasted. I was like, I don't even know Pixie. I haven't played that game in forever.
Ace Combat. Good memories. But yeah. Then we also had a discussion at what type of jet that actually was. And I'm like, it's... King was like, made the comment about it being a Tomcat, an F-14. I'm like, no, I'm almost certain that's an F-15. I'm 99% sure that is an Eagle. And then I can't remember who else, but someone said, isn't that a Russian MiG or an SU or something like that? I'm like, no. And then we had this whole little conversation going on about what exactly was in this picture, because you're right, it did start off with, oh, it's Starscream. No, it's Pixie. It is? Pixie from who? Pixie from where?
Yep.
And then it transformed into what actually jet it was, what type of jet it actually was. And I think the thing that finally killed it was both, if I recall correctly, both Saunter and I looked up what Pixie flew in Ace Combat, which I was, like I said, 99% sure it was an F-15, and it ended up being an F-15. So.
Oh yeah, I wanted to bring up that because I actually looked up. One, I was the smart guy that said a MiG, because I looked up a comment somewhere and like, yeah, that looks like a MiG. And I was like, oh, well, I guess it's a MiG. After that, I actually looked up, and Starscream, I forget when it was, but there was a season in Transformers where he was an F-15. So
Yeah.
that could have been Starscream.
And that's actually the Rainbow Dash versus Starscream video, which is so ancient at this point. But yeah, he was an F-15 in that. That is a great video. That is an ancient video, though. And I don't even know how many views that has at this point. But I was going to comment on something, but I can't remember what. Oh, speaking of the chat. Yeah. There was that one link to that the Plots magazine. Did you guys see that picture link?
The what magazine?
Plots that had Big Mac looking at a Plots magazine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I needed a bit of mind bleach after that, to be honest. I was just like, why? Okay, personally, I am not a Rule 34 and stuff. For me is off limits. Like, I don't do that stuff for the community. I just try to more or less keep that separate from my pony stuff, because for me, ponies are kind of that innocent thing that I try to keep innocent. But what?
Yep.
But that really wasn't the disturbing part about that picture for me. Like, you guys saw it in the back. It had Big Mac looking at a Plots magazine, and he had some hoof lotion, and we all know where that was going. And so, but then in the background it had, pictures of various plots of various ponies from the show. And the disturbing thing was they had AJ's plot in there. And I was like, no! I'm like, no, please don't make Big Mac incest. Please. That was just like, that was the part that really disturbed me about that picture. But to be completely honest, I've been more disturbed by other things produced by this community. Even the concept of cupcakes, which I have not read yet, because I have not gotten up the courage, I guess.
Mental fortitude.
The mental fortitude, yes, thank you. Wording is everything, especially in the military. It's not a retreat, it's a tactical movement in the direction opposite of the enemy. But
it's not stealing, it's a stealth tactical equipment acquisition. No, I can't remember.
The Air Force has a term for that. It's called skillfully acquiring. But yes, there are definitely things in this community. Again, we've posted on this.
I got it. It's silently transporting equipment to an alternate location.
That is a good one. But okay, we've posted on this on our website. We love and we do tolerate. We fully embrace the whole love and tolerate thing, not only from a brony perspective, but from the military perspective. I talked about it a bit on the whole retired Army colonel thing, the Kurt. I can't remember his last name. Even if I could, I know I'd butcher it. But, and then, we had Firebrand post on that one topic. What was it? Justin Bieber. We talked about that. And it's about the whole love and tolerance thing, and it's more about being a military man, too. We might not agree with your opinions. We might not agree with your views and beliefs and opinions, but we'll be damned if we let anyone take your right to have those away from you. So we will fight to the death to protect your freedoms. We might not agree with you, but we respect your freedom to have them. So, I mean, again, there are things in this community that disturb me. Rule 34, clot fix, gore and stuff like cupcakes. But at the same time, I'm not saying that shouldn't be allowed, because, everyone is free to do their own thing. So,
right. It's just like we have a target demographic, and we want to try to keep it, PG, maybe a little bit PG-13, but we're trying to keep it pretty much family friendly. There's other places that you can go to, look up, say you want to Rule 34. There are places for that. It's just not here.
Yeah, exactly. FOB Equestria basically is meant to be clean. And for the most part. We might have military stuff in there, and as military men, we are more often than not known to have bad language from time to time, I guess, and stuff like that. And it will be a little rough in terms of military stuff, but in terms of safe for work, we're gonna try to keep it, as clean as possible. And not only that, from the military perspective of, we deal with enough of basically ponies for most military men, at least what I've observed, is kind of like that way of decompressing, of kind of making your day a little better after dealing with some of the darker, more harsher realities. So
imagine going out, getting your ass yelled at in like 125-degree weather, mortars just blow up randomly outside of the fence, and then you return home and you see Pinkie Pie.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, my day is
better.
Happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just happiness now.
And
it's a great escape from reality, from, everything else is going around you. It just helps. It helps me. It helps a lot of people I know.
Yeah. And it's like, that's why the initial response to military bronies that I observed was, there's military bronies? That doesn't really make any sense. But when you think about it, it really does. Especially because we have to deal with a lot of the harsher realities that we really just want to have some joy back in our lives sometimes. And, what gets happier than pastel-colored magical ponies?
Imagine the faces of some of the people. Imagine like this, 6'2", giant, burly, like tough-looking war veteran Marine walking into his room and just seeing pony plushies, posters, pink colors everywhere.
Yeah.
Just imagine that. I've had the funniest reactions from people like that just walking in.
Oh yeah. I've seen military bronies who look, they can literally, I guarantee you, they can pick up a man and break him in half, like without even trying. And, I think it's the military aspect. Like, military bronies, more than anyone, a lot of the times are secure in their masculinity, and they don't feel the need to prove it to anyone. And so they don't really, a lot of the times, they don't have as much shame about being as a brony as a lot of other people. Because, let's face it, everyone went through that initial phase of, as I've heard some people put it, being in the stable, where they were a brony and they didn't tell anyone. And it's because they were, it's one of those things, it's a social stigma, which it's becoming less, but it's still that thing of, you're a fully grown man and you like a show for little girls, I've dealt with it with my family knows. And, my brother, he was probably the coolest about it. My brother was like, whatever, you like what you like. And I'm like, but my mom was put off by it. My dad kind of had the same attitude as my brother, but my mom was like, that's a little disturbing. I'm like, Mom, you're being judgmental right now. But it's definitely, it's definitely.
Yeah, but even if there is a stigma, you can say that not only are there bronies out there, but there's bronies in military.
Oh yeah.
Who can march for 12 miles with 90 pounds on their backs.
Oh yeah.
And we can take apart aircraft engines and put them back, and we drive things that are bigger than your house.
Yep. It's one of those things of, I think that's what we're really trying to do here as military bronies, is say, hey, your preference of a TV show has absolutely no bearing on your manliness. And personally, my opinion on whole manhood thing is the only person who really has to decide that you're a man is you. That's really what it comes down to, because you shouldn't care. People do, but you shouldn't care whether or not people view you as being quote unquote a man. And I know there's lady bronies and both in the military and otherwise out there, so please don't take this the wrong way, women, but it's one of those things of as a man, the only person who you should need really any validation from of being a man is yourself. You need to be confident in your own, basically in who you are. And in my opinion, having that confidence, having that sense of self is more being a man than anything else.
I think it's definitely, it's a good message. It's very. I think it's actually it's something that's been said, but I think it's something that definitely needs to be said again. But we want to try to get back on track a little bit.
Okay. What do you want to get back on track to? I'm sorry.
Oh no. Damn, I don't even remember.
Okay. But yeah, digressing from the whole manhood speech, none of us here really feel the need to prove ourselves to be men. I mean, like, seriously, if someone wants to have, forgive my language, but a pissing match of who's the better man, like a normal person that I would walk up to on the street, like some random guy I would meet on the street who would see me wearing a brony shirt. Now, this hasn't happened, obviously. Most people, let's face it, most people, they don't talk to strangers randomly. Even if they disagree with someone, they don't talk to strangers randomly.
I do, and they give me candy.
And then you take
Get in their van?
And you get in their van. But, like,
You always have those vans.
they always have those windowless vans, I know. Free candy on the side. But anyway, as I was saying, like I said, forgive my language again, but if someone wants to get into a pissing match of quote-unquote manly things that they've done, I can take any old regular Joe on the street to school there. And I'm sure either of us can. And it's just like, but see, in my opinion, that isn't what makes a man. And like I've said it, the defining factor of being a man is having that self-confidence and that basically knowing who you are and being proud of who you are and having that really the self-respect, I guess is what I'm saying. Having self-respect is really what being a man is about, in my opinion. So, yeah. Anyway, I guess we should get back on topic a little. We were talking about that whole Plots magazine before this.
Yes,
that
we
image.
were.
That's
what I was trying to say. We diverged.
We completely diverged. Where do we... I don't even know. Holy crap. I am the derail master. And as our viewers have probably more than gleamed at listeners. I say viewers because I'm so used to YouTube. As our listeners have more than gleamed at this point, I've kind of been dominating the conversation. That's kind of my personality. I don't mean to. And by all means, if you guys have ever anything to say, just chime in there and I will shut up instantly. I think I've been decent about, when you guys have something to say, just, zipping it. But, yeah. Another interesting thing I saw in Equestria Daily, again, because, Equestria Daily is the hub for pretty much everything brony. They're on top of their stuff. PonyCade. Someone made an arcade pony machine, made a complete arcade machine basically from scratch and completely pony themed. Like there's vectors and all this stuff all over this thing. You guys see?
That's my hero.
That guy is your hero?
Yes.
And these things need to be mass produced.
Yeah, I agree. I know there are a few bronies I know. One of them I met when I was out in Colorado. He goes by the name Metacritter. He is, part of the Colorado Bronies, which is the first brony group I actually got involved in when I was out in Colorado doing my Air Force stuff there. And, great guy, but he's got arcade machines and stuff in his house. This guy, he is, he's one of the coolest guys you'll ever meet. He is the head of the Colorado Bronies. And, he'll do marathons, and when the show was coming out with new episodes, he would do weekly screenings. Every Saturday night after the episode came out, he would do a screening at his house and invite the first 20 or so people who got there, who got their names in, got to go. So he always had a list, but this guy just opened up his house to us, and he really embraces the show, the values of the show, I guess. He really embodies it, of just being a great friend, a great person in general. And but like I said, he has arcade machines, and I guarantee you when he saw that post, he he wanted it more than anyone. In fact, he might have gotten in touch with the guy. Knowing Meta, he probably got in touch with the guy and talked to him about getting him commissioning another arcade machine like that. But it's just constantly amazing me to see the talent of this community. I mean, even in just this past week, you have seen, like I said, with Picture Perfect Pony, that didn't come out this week, it came out last week, but a lot of the stuff that comes out in just a month from this community is so far above the rest. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen another fan base produce so much content, and high quality content at that, as the Bronies.
And a very recent good example of this is when Rina-chan put out her video clip or a sound clip of the Colgate Brushie song.
Oh yeah.
You've seen that?
I think I might have. I'm pretty sure. Let me check.
And of course, all the Brony musicians have now thrown themselves at it, and there's remixes all over the place.
There are remixes abound. Two of the remixes I did download were, again, from our good, well, I shouldn't say good friend, but, you know, from our fellow military Brony, Living Tombstone. He did a remix of it. And then there was Sim Gratina, who did an Inspector Brushie remix, and that was also good. I mean, these guys, like I said...
And I see someone has released a video of Colgate's Toothpaste Cannon. So it's
yes.
like just almost overnight we're having another background pony getting their fame on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is one thing I've noticed. Like, even like I've seen us being compared to Trekkies a lot. But honestly, I think we're starting to surpass them. We may not have the raw numbers in viewer base, but the amount of content we've put out in just two and a half years seems to surpass all the content that they put out in the entire time that
and actually one thing
has even existed.
Like, okay, we all know at this point, I've mentioned it, I'm the head pre-reader. But prior to the Brony community, prior to being a Brony, I had never read a single piece of fan fiction. And I guess it's a blessing, because from what I hear, fan fiction in general, when you're talking about normal fan bases, fan fiction is horrible. Now, I'm not saying all fan fiction is bad, especially for the Bronies. It is actually, a lot of the fan fiction out there for Bronies is exceptionally well written. But it's like, that's another, just point. It's like the fan fiction for this community. I had never done like I said, first time doing fan fiction was this community, and I was hooked into it. Just the well-written stories, and it does help to have quality control. Equestria Daily helps with that significantly, because they have everyone pre-read, and if it's judged to be at a certain quality level, they post it. And it really was just that way of me kind of coping with the fact of, okay, season 1 just ended, and now season 2 was just starting up, but there was still that dead time between My Little Pony, and I was like, I want more Pony. How can I get more Pony? And I turned to the fan base, and I think that's what a lot of Bronies do, is they turn to the fan base. And I think that's kind of what we are trying to do on FOB Equestria too, is not only draw, at least what I'm trying to do, is not only draw attention to military-themed content from the Brony community, especially with our art posts. There's tons of military My Little Pony art posts out there that we're...
Artillery.
Yeah, the artillery. I love that pun, by the way. But what I'm personally trying to do with my fan fiction reviews is, rather than go off star ratings, which Equestria Daily does a lot, is actually give a review. And so I give an idea of what the story is generally about. So military Bronies visiting our site, if they do read fan fiction, can read my review and say, oh, this sounds like a story I'd be really interested in. Give them a better perspective on the story and let them judge for themselves if it's worth their time. because we all know, as military men in general, we're strapped for time. And so we try to, what I'm trying to do is make it a little easier from the fan fiction side, but what I see us doing in general is highlighting stuff that would be of especially high interest to the military bronies. And that's, like I said, I saw this thing coming online and I'm like, that's something I can really get behind and be a part of. And, so here I am. But
and we also really want our forums to be sort of the communication hub for military bronies, so they can get in touch with each other.
What I actually want to try to bring to fruit eventually is to actually use the forums when we get enough people. Actually use it to as like a central hub for meetups for the military bronies.
Oh yeah.
Like, okay, well, everyone who's stationed in Marine Corps base Quantico or the area around there, let's meet up at this time, or something like that. I think that would be a great thing, because if we start expanding, we can get multiple members on each base, and really try to bring us together. I'm
currently at Shepherd Air Force Base in Texas, and Air Force, we all know Air Force is a little more, what's the word I'm looking for in terms of the military? A little more lax?
Lazy?
No, not lazy. Relaxed, I guess. A little less,
Active?
What?
Active?
You know what I'm trying to say is they're a little more accepting, I guess. You think of Marines and you think of Army guys, and no offense to them at all, I love them, but you think when you think Marines and Army, you think really strict, really more conservative, more into manly things, and when you think Marines and Army, you think, oh, they're going to be a lot more judgmental towards the bronies. But when you think Air Force and you think military and you say there's military bronies in the Air Force, you think, well, that kind of makes a little more sense. Because the Air Force, it's like, again, I'm not trying to demean at any part of the military at all, especially my own branch here, but this might come across as demeaning my own branch. But the Air Force,
it's basically more relaxed.
It's definitely more relaxed, and in my opinion, I guess what I'm trying to say is the Air Force, of all the military branches in the U.S., is the least militaristic, I guess. Is the least military-like.
It's very administrative versus combative.
Yes. And so it's definitely, but the forums, like I was saying, I'm sorry getting off topic here, but I'm bringing it back. Derail. I am horrible at that. But the forums, even in my time here at Shepherd, I've seen Air Force bronies, and I've talked to them. I have sent a couple of them our way. I've said, hey, you're a military brony? We're getting together. The military bronies are finally, I said finally, we're still young. Everyone here is young. The brony community is such a young community. It's amazing that the military bronies are uniting as they are now, this soon. But, I said, the military bronies, we're getting our stuff together. We're actually networking among ourselves now, and I point them in our direction. I say, hey, go check out FOB Equestria. We're essentially the home of the military bronies. And so and like you said, the forums, which I would like to see that as well, I want the forums to become that central networking hub of really arranging meetups at different bases. And that's obviously not going to be the only purpose of it, but that's actually should be a main purpose. And I mean, that's one thing.
That is the reason why we put up the forums primarily to allow military bronies to get in touch and to find other military bronies in their area.
Yeah. So it's one.
Of course, other bronies.
Other bronies too.
Forget them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess that's an important disclaimer. We as military bronies are not trying to segregate ourselves from the brony community. We aren't trying to form our own little, closed off community that says military bronies only. We don't want to interact with regular bronies. No, we obviously want to meet up with regular bronies as well. But the focus of FOB Equestria is kind of like, letting other military bronies know that we're out there and that there are other people like them, and kind of, like I said, give that whole military theme and focus and kind of help bring stuff that would be of interest or kind of help ease the time constraints of the military bronies. And so it's, I guess that was something that could have been coming off as a saying, as military bronies are trying to separate themselves from the regular brony community, when that isn't the case at all. So I don't want anyone to think that we are trying to form our own separate community here, because that is definitely not what we want. I mean, like I said earlier, Black Griffin, he's over in Japan. And yeah, he would like to meet up with military bronies, but he just wants to meet up with bronies in general. He thinks it's more likely that it's going to be military bronies because, well, he's in Japan on a military installation. Chances of him meeting military bronies are best going to happen on that base. But
it's actually, I'm not sure if anyone was aware. I remember there was an article posted on it a while back. But bronies in Japan are even harder to come by, because I'm not sure if everyone knows, but the country of Japan actually believes itself to be smarter than the rest of the world. So the reason you don't get a lot of crossover translations for like video games and the like is because they believe that some of them are a little too intelligent for the rest of the world, because which is why the Xbox doesn't sell, because we like FPS games. Japanese see FPS games as mindless, which is I digress slightly. Talking animals in general, like things like My Little Pony. Even though our generation is at 3. God,
no, we're G4.
Even 4. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's past midnight here. I'm tired.
I understand.
But even though G4 is much different, the concept behind it is not marketed to like 8-year-old girls or 12-year-old girls. It's actually marketed to like elementary school kids, like 4 to 6.
Right.
So it's even harder. It's like, imagine watching Barney and then trying to make an argument that Barney is now like the coolest show you've ever seen.
I get the parallel you're trying to draw, and that is what a lot of people see it as. It sees us as watching a show that's designed for little girls, and immediately they assume it's a horrible show. And in all fairness, that's what experience has taught us. Shows aimed at younger audiences 99% of the time are just completely uninteresting, if not perceived as just being completely stupid to the older crowd. I mean, shows like Dora the Explorer and Barney, like you said, and stuff like that, normal grown adults would never find entertaining at all. But that's a credit to how well this show is done. It's got that, it's just a level above the rest. I mean, I
personally think it's a lot of credit to Lauren Faust herself, because it's the first time she's done it.
Yeah.
I do want to bring up really quickly, though, that I do love the country of Japan, and I'm not trying to talk down to them.
You're right.
I wanted to bring that in, because I do love this place, but they do have a general cultural difference than we do, which is why the show is not nearly as popular.
And I can see that, definitely. But going back to Lauren Faust, yeah, she really, even though she was only the head producer for the first season, which caused some unease among the bronies.
Wasn't she involved for some of the season 2 as well?
Yeah, she was.
And some of season 3.
Really? I was not aware she was part of some of season 3.
I
mean,
I think she mentioned... No, I think I might be wrong. I'm probably wrong.
Well, you're probably right to an extent. They're probably going to use some of her original concepts and ideas. Like, she might have had some ideas for episodes that they're going to bring into season 3. But that's what I want to kind of transfer over to right now, is there was this video post on Equestria Daily. I know we discussed this pre-recording podcast, about this guy who works security detail for Lauren Faust at one of the cons. I can't remember exactly what con, but And
BronyCon.
it was BronyCon? Okay.
Yeah.
And he had this impromptu conversation with her about, My Little Pony. How'd she come up with the idea and all this stuff? And, she told him such interesting things as, she wanted things like Canterlot. She wanted Canterlot to be, God, I can't remember. What's the name of it? I know Lord of the Rings fans are screaming at me right now. I'm having a brain block. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry everyone, especially Lord of the Rings fans. I know we're offending you even more. But that she wanted Canterlot to be the equivalent of that stronghold in Lord of the Rings. Oh, I hate saying that. But and stuff like that. And actually one of the subjects we got discussing, again, pretty much every video we mention, well, I shouldn't say every, but most videos we mention, like this one, will have links in the description. So if you're watching this as an embedded player, just click that YouTube thing and it'll take you over to YouTube and you can find them there. But one of the subjects that we brought up in our Skype chat was the whole concept that she said she had this idea for Scootaloo being handicapped and not being able to fly, and she wanted an episode to focus around that, of saying, Scootaloo had this dream of being a great flyer like her role model, Rainbow Dash, but she would never be able to achieve that. So she wanted to make an episode about kind of moving past and accepting your own limitations. And we had this conversation on the Skype chat about how some of us weren't exactly thrilled with that message. Were either of you there for that? Did you either of you?
Yes, I believe I was that individual who was not thrilled with said message.
I think Saunter also shared your opinion, and I was inclined to it as well, because it was either you or Saunter, but someone posted a link to a runner who had, didn't have, his legs were cut off at the knees, and he was a sprinter in, the Olympics and, the Special Olympics, and that saying, no matter your limitations, you should just go after your dreams, as hard as you can. And, I live by the mantra, shoot for the moon, because even if you miss, you'll land among the stars type of things. So dream big. Dream as big as you can possibly dream, and chase after that. Because you know what? Even if you don't... I'm sorry, go. You can go.
I think that an idea for an episode about Scootaloo being handicapped would, I think it should be more in the direction of getting Scootaloo to fly regardless. And not her accepting her fate as not being able to fly.
Or, maybe finding... I think it should be an episode of self-discovery and maybe perseverance, like you said. Maybe overcoming her disability. But it shouldn't be an episode like the guy in the video made it sound. It shouldn't be an episode about accepting fate and, kind of giving up on things because of your own limitations. Because there are plenty of people on this planet in the past who have achieved their dreams despite their limitations getting in the way. And so I don't embrace that message of...
I think the idea Lauren was getting was that this story would direct Scootaloo into discovering her skills.
Right, and that's what I'm saying.
That's a big idea.
An episode about self-discovery, and that's what I would support. I would support that, of, through her limitations and her setbacks because of her limitations, she actually discovers this whole other dream she has. It's not about giving up on one dream. It's about kind of your dream growing, not so much giving up. And again, it sounds... What this really comes down to is, and I think that's what she meant, and I think you're right. But what the way this guy presented it in the video, the way he worded it, and as we know in the military, phrasing is everything. But the way he put it, it made it sound like it was about just accepting your fate and, giving up almost, as opposed to growing and, self-discovery. And like I said, phrasing is everything, but I thought that entire video was pretty neat, that we got a little insight into My Little Pony, you know, some of the origins of the characters, how, you know, Fluttershy actually came from a part of Lauren Faust's childhood, that type of thing. And definitely it was a whole interesting concept. Actually, on the subject of Lauren Faust, did any of you see that picture of what I like to refer to her as FAUSTICORN? Basically being, hold on, I'm gonna post this picture in the chat because I could describe it, but it's basically Lauren Faust, her OC, looking completely just covered in armor, you know, red background, looking as awesome and completely badass as she can, and it is so well done and so detailed. Have either of you seen that picture?
I'm looking at it right now. That's actually pretty incredible.
I've seen it, but yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's, again, and that is just a testament. I believe that, I'm almost certain that picture came out sometime this week. And when I say came out, I mean was posted on Equestria Daily. Like I said, I kind of want this podcast to be primarily a week in review, and then I want it to, you know, be an opportunity to do a week in review, like stuff from the community that has come out in the past week, a chance to highlight stuff happening on the website, you know, a chance for announcements of current and future events, like we did with the t-shirts, and like we did with the you know, art thing that we want to get going, and, you know, the potential that we will possibly be looking for staff, but we're currently working out all the details, stuff like that. And then, you know,
yep,
it's kind of like that, and it's not going to be limited to a week in review, but I want it to focus on stuff from the community in the past week. Now, if we happen to stumble upon something that had been created previously, but we thought it was really cool, and, you know, it's a new discovery for us in the past week, well, that's also fair game. But it's definitely, and ideally, sometime in the future, we get some people to interview on here. I would love to do an interview with Black Griffin, but interviews, to make sure they don't go completely sideways, I'm definitely gonna have.
If we were doing interviews, we would probably do it in an organized fashion with questions.
Absolutely.
Ready, available.
Exactly. That's
We are military after all, so we always come prepared.
Right.
Except in this podcast.
Except in this podcast, and actually,
Wing like a boss.
Yeah,
No,
wing
no.
it.
This is all working out as planned.
This is organized chaos. Okay. This is organized chaos.
We're basically just reading a script there, guys.
Oh yes.
This is all according to plan. You guys can't see me, but I'm putting my fingers together very deviously. Yes, it is organized chaos. I think our regular podcasts are going to be organized chaos to an extent. Like I said, I do have a list here in front of me with stuff I want to make sure we hit on, but in terms, I don't want to limit it to, you know, a specific confines. I mean, like I said, one of the biggest purposes of this podcast, I kind of gave our mission statement of, you know, I want to cover things in the past week, this, that, and the other. But the biggest absolute, you know, overall arching purpose of this podcast is to really just make ourselves more personable to our, you know, our users, our members, the military bronies in general. You know, just really Skype chat stuff. Anyway, it's to really, so we aren't just, you know, so we aren't just random moderator names and people who occasionally bring down that ban hammer on, you know, the people who are abusing forums or, you know, posting inappropriate stuff. We want to be actual people. And I think that, like I said, right now, we are the three primary hosts, the regular cast, and depending on how bases change, depending on how deployments happen and stuff, that is definitely, it's the way of the military. Things may change in the future. Dates on when the podcasts happen may change. Right now, we have it set up to record this, like we are right now, Saturday mornings on the eastern coast of the U.S., which works out kind of well. It's early afternoon for you, Harold, and it's past midnight for you right now.
Yep.
Michelle. And
Still got a kink in my foot.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
Yeah, by the way, everyone,
that's
the
what
reason you laughed is because I typed that I have a kink in my foot, and I'm like jumping around my room trying to shake it off.
Yeah, but so and like I said, we are the 3 primary hosts, I guess. There was supposed to be a 4th, but for whatever reason he couldn't get online. I don't know what happened, but I'm chalking it up to unknown military circumstances. But just because we are the main hosts, that obviously does not mean other moderators, like Saunterhoof.
More in the future.
Yeah, exactly. Expect more in the future. I wouldn't be surprised if Firebrand, our commander, good old guy, decides to hop on and say something, especially if he has something to say. If he has a message he wants to get out there, he'll probably post it on the website, but then he'll probably come on here to reinforce his point. I know there's been a few times we had that whole Justin Bieber incident, and then we had the whole PA fiasco with the patches.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, and he had a very good message both of those times. Then he had his My Little Dash review. I have to say I agreed with it for the most part. There was something I noticed for future reference for you guys, and I guess for anyone listening. If you are going to put spoilers in it, make sure you preview first to make sure the blackout that you do actually covers it. Because one thing I noticed is at least with our site, the way it works, when you post something, even though the text is supposed to be black, it comes out as a little gray. And so if you do a black highlight over it, it doesn't block it out. So we've actually inadvertently spoiled some things. I went back and retroactively fixed stuff, so future viewers shouldn't have issues with this. But basically what I had to do was I had to go in and I had to change the text color and the highlight color to the darkest shade of gray I could find, because black didn't work. And I guess that's kind of the technical side for you, Harold. One of those things that you're more aware of than the rest of us, but it's...
Yeah, there's just a few things because we're using the I would say wonderful blogging platform provided by Google.
Yes.
Blogger, but it's also wonderfully full of
little kinks
and stuff.
Yeah, little kinks and stuff that... So I guess what I am trying to do here is provide a disclaimer that we are still a young site and we are still trying to gain organization and learn our way of exactly what we're doing. So every now and again you're going to see little goof ups like that. And I'm just saying, please be patient with us. It will get better as time goes on. I promise. Isn't that right?
Yeah, we're basically in the starting lane for doing this kind of thing. I don't think any of us have any real experience from it.
That's a negative, Ghost Rider.
Pattern is full. Oh, Top Gun reference. But yeah, I guess one thing, I guess we're going into towards the end here, because I've covered pretty much everything on my list at this point, except there are a couple things. Anything you guys want to chime in at the last second? Hopefully I won't be too dominating in the future. No, I'm taking silences and no.
It's good that we have someone talking, because if this was a podcast with 30 minutes of silence, I don't think people will start listening
right
on a regular basis.
You're right. And ideally, okay, that was something you wanted to bring up. We talked about a bit early on, and we're toying around with the idea of live podcasts. Whether or not that becomes a thing is a completely different subject, but it would give people the chance to actually field questions to us live, which would be nice, provide us good material. But yeah, as anyone can attest, anyone who knows me really well in person, as well as people.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, why don't we throw this question out there? Would you start listening to a regular live podcast with us?
Yeah, it'd probably be about 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, U.S. And we would definitely, if it was going to be postponed for any reason, put out an update saying, hey, podcast isn't going to be at 9, it's going to be at 9:30 or 10 o'clock. But, definitely give a heads up.
Let's get some information before we start throwing out times. You have to remember with schedules and
right.
Podcast. Because this podcast should be running every week at 9, so we can't have a live one running at the same time.
Well,
that week.
That's what I was kind of saying. That's what I was kind of saying.
General consensus to see if people actually want to
listen
to us blabber for 2 hours.
Yeah. That's live, right? But see, actually, the whole live concept, like King pointed out, is more listener involved because they can field questions to us, especially if we end up doing it in something like on a live stream account. I already have one of those, but bandwidth is currently not conducive to that, just because of my current living arrangements. But live stream accounts, they have actual chat boxes that people can type in real-time messages and field questions. So, what you were saying, Michelle, is what we were thinking, at least what I was thinking, the impression I was given when King was talking about this was we would take this podcast right here and we would basically make this podcast live. We wouldn't try to be doing 2 separate podcasts. We'd be doing just one. But there is that problem. Right. Good.
Yeah. So before we even start dabbling in it, we would basically want to know if it's anything anyone would like to hear.
Right. And I guess...
And participate in.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I'll ignore it if you want me to. But but as I was saying earlier, anyone who knows me can attest to the fact that I can talk and talk and talk. I'm just one of those personalities that, I've got the gift of gab, I guess. So that's one thing that has come in handy on me in various circumstances. I mean, when I tried to bring my YouTube channel back to life, which, it's not pony related, so I'm not even going to promote it, but it came in handy. And that's kind of why I wanted to do a podcast, is because I felt like it was something that I would be capable of doing, and it's not something I want to do solo. A solo podcast, in my opinion, is kind of boring. It helps, even if the other people only chime in once in a while, having other people present just adds to the interest factor and actually makes it worthwhile. So that's why you guys are here. So I hope you feel loved and appreciated.
I'm glad I can be useful to you in it's at least one way.
Yeah.
Want me to kiss your feet too?
No, it's good. Just it's I do feel guilty though about dominating the conversation, which is why I said it. Anytime you have anything to contribute, just start talking and I will shut myself up immediately and let someone else have the floor, because I am very conscious about my tendency to dominate conversations. And, it's something I've made an effort to make myself more and more aware of, and letting other people actually have the floor and say their piece. So
sounds about right.
Yeah. But as long as, if you guys stay quiet, expect me to talk. That's all I can say, because I hate silence more than anyone. I guarantee it. I am one of those people who cannot stand awkward silences, so I will say something, anything, to just dissipate it. But like I said earlier, from the sound of what you guys, or lack of sound, when I asked if there was anything more you guys wanted to really bring up, I guess we are closing down on this podcast. There were a few closing remarks I wanted to talk about. First, Michelle, you talked about earlier on when we were doing our pre-podcast stuff, how you wanted to promote our Facebook page. I know you're taking charge with that right now, and yeah, we do have a Facebook page.
Don't tell anyone about that.
You never mentioned that. Not my fault. You left out that information, but we do have
information. Doesn't matter if you didn't know.
But we do have a Facebook page, and we would like, if you, like I said, Michelle is taking charge of that, and he wants to get it to where we have at least one update a day, if not multiple updates a day. We'll see how things go out, but he wants to get it to...
Send me your stuff.
Send him your stuff. FOBEquestria@gmail.com as per usual. And if you haven't guessed, just like our YouTube channel and just like everything else we have, FOB Equestria is the name. And that's Foxtrot, Oscar, Bravo, Equestria. Forward operating base Equestria. Military phonetics are awesome. And you definitely check out our Facebook page if you want to chat it up a bit more. You want to see daily updates. Hopefully you can get it to the point where it is daily, Michelle. And like I said, just search FOB Equestria on Facebook. Look for our... What are we? Is it a news personality? I think is what it's classified as.
Let me check. That's what I got this for. Why did I go to YouTube?
Yeah. This will be our first upload to our YouTube channel, though. And hopefully, I can't recall, we talked about it pre-podcast?
Yes, we are a news personality.
Okay, so we are a news personality on Facebook.
Hi.
Obviously, we have a YouTube. This is on our YouTube. This should be our first video on our YouTube. I'm probably going to end up doing the editing for this first video just because, it's going to be easiest to get it out there quickly. In the future, probably Firebrand will end up doing editing. I know he offered, but we're going to have to arrange how that's actually going to work. So we have a YouTube, obviously. You're viewing this video on our YouTube. And we also have, a Twitter. It's at FOB Equestria, again. So follow us on Twitter if you want to see random updates. I'm pretty sure you're heading that up, King. I think you take care of our Twitter more than anyone. And
yeah, and it automatically feeds all the posts on the website.
Oh, okay.
So
if you want to automatically get an update every time there's a new post on the website, follow us at Twitter. So that's really convenient. And
so basically, the way I got it is if you like me, check out Facebook. If you like if you like Harold, check out Twitter. And if you like Spangle, well, listen to this podcast.
Yeah, just check out YouTube. I'll be on there plenty.
Oh yeah, YouTube. Yeah, you got YouTube.
Yeah, this podcast, like I said, barring any unforeseen circumstances, which in the military happens, but this will be a weekly thing. If I can't get it to be a weekly thing, I'm probably going to try to enlist the help of... I'm going to try to hand over the baton to one of you guys, or maybe enlist the help of Firebrand, because I know he does his own YouTube thing. He is used to blabbing just like I am. So I think he would be a good person to hand off the baton if for whatever reason I can't be present. And, it's I guess the third, it would be the fourth, I guess. Because we have Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. And then the fourth thing is we do have a DeviantArt group. So if you're an artist, look us up on DA and submit us anything military themed. Anything that is a military themed picture, send to us. Submit it to the group. I think, don't they have to become a contributor to submit? I think that's how it works. Either of you know?
I'm not entirely sure, but submit anyway.
Yeah. So,
get your art to us.
Yes.
As long as it's military themed or there's guns in it or anything like that, we pretty much accept it.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Even if it isn't actually military themed, like straight out kind of like human, I'm a really big Lunar Republic fan.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That works. Solar Empire, Lunar Republic. That's
oh yeah,
all classified into it too.
That's what I'm saying is anything remotely military themed, whether that be New Lunar Republic, real life military, you know, like soldierless ponies types of things, or, you know, some humanized ponies, or, you know, like I've seen comics drawn of, you know, military men with, you know, a pony thing, or like Air Force jets flying with, you know, Rainbow Dash, stuff like that. Or even like Equestria military themed, like Royal Guard stuff. That stuff is fine too. If it's even remotely military themed, submit it to our DA group, or if you submit it to our email account, fobequestria@gmail.com, if you submit art via that, it will, if it's on DeviantArt, it will end up on our DeviantArt group. I guarantee it. At some point.
And if it's really awesome and I get my hand on it first, I'll post it on Facebook.
Okay, yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. So
yeah, I'll just steal their art.
Yeah, just steal their art. We do prefer that we'd like to get in contact with the artists to really just network. If you're an artist or you know an artist who does, you know, My Little Pony drawings and especially does military themed stuff, definitely send them our way, because we love being in contact with those guys, giving those guys credit and publicity, you know, really promoting them. And we like it because it really fits with our theme. So I guess mentioning all of our stuff that we have going. And yeah, I think that about wraps up this podcast. Unless you guys have anything more to contribute. I'll take silence as a no.
No, I'm good.
All right.
Yeah.
So links to pretty much all the videos we mentioned, as long as I can find the videos, links will be in the description of this YouTube video. And I'll probably post the link to that awesome, you know, Lauren Faust alicorn picture. That was pretty awesome. I will not post the link to the Plots magazine picture. I'll post the Draw Friend link. No, I'll post.
You can probably find it on Google.
Well, what I was going to do was I was going to post the link to the Draw Friend on Equestria Daily it was included in. Because that's like, I feel that's safe enough away. Enough distance between it.
Yeah.
So, and so any videos, images, stuff like that will be in the description. And I guess thanks for tuning in. Like I said, this currently is planned to be a weekly thing. Thanks for bearing with us on this pilot one where it was organized chaos and at sometimes just pure chaos. Discord would be proud. And hopefully in the future we can do interviews. If you know someone we should interview or that would be willing to do an interview with us, so let's say a brony musician or one of the voice actors, or, you know, anyone who is out there willing to do an interview with us, ideally we can get Black Griffin on here sometime. But yeah, direct them our way, please. And I guess it's time to say goodbye. So say your goodbyes, guys.
Bye. Sayonara.
Goodbye.
Sayonara, how appropriate.
Sayonara.
Like I said, thanks for tuning in, and you can catch us next week. And Semper Philly.